Okay, we are live both on YouTube and on Instagram right now. So if you are following along, welcome. Welcome back to our live feed. And as you're getting logged on, if you'd like to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits, and posing, all of the fun stuff when it comes to competing for ladies, and we'll give you guys a few minutes to get logged on. While we're doing that, our Sizzling Summer Suit Sale is open. And if you are on the registration list, that means that you have the link to purchase, and they are going fast. Let me tell you. I warn you guys about this all the time. Whenever we do this sale, it sells out within a few days, and we are on track to do that. So if you are debating, now is the time to make that decision, right? Yes, BSBN. Yeah, welcome home, right? Yes. I know, right? It's a lot easier for me to coordinate my live streams when I'm in my office versus when I'm in a hotel room and can't get access to Wi-Fi and all of that. So much better being on live when I'm home, which is great. Tonight we are going to go through results from Patriots. We're going to go through results from Puerto Rico. And we're going to touch a little bit on Dallas, but like I told you guys before, I don't go through and review girls that I've actually been on stage with. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how Dallas went, my feedback, what's coming up later, how you can learn from my own feedback. I always try to take what I've learned and impart that upon you so that you can learn the easy way, not the hard way. And, back when I first started competing, we didn't have the ability to talk like this. You know what I mean? This was not a thing. Like, the only place that people got information was on bodybuilding.com. There was no live feeds. There was none of this stuff. I'm old school here. So now that I have the ability to kind of share with you what's going on, hopefully y'all will learn a little bit from it too. So but also to touch on that a little bit, one of the girls at the Dallas Pro came up to me at check-ins, one of the pros, and she watches our BSPNs, and she had just placed sixth in a pro show a couple weeks earlier. And she was all upset because she knew that because she placed sixth, I wasn't going to review her because I only reviewed the top 5 at shows. So I told her, I said, listen, if you want me to review you, let me know. I'll be more than happy to do that. You know what I mean? I've had girls do that when they place outside the top 5 in a pro show. I have no problem with that. If you are a pro that watches this and you want to hear my critiques, reach out. Just say, hey, listen, can you include me into your BSPN? Of course, I will absolutely do that for you. No problem at all. I stick to the top 5 just simply because those are the point earners. Those are the people that are earning points going to Olympia. And I feel like those are the ones that we really want to pay attention to at the shows. And if you're outside of the top 5, that means you probably have things you got to work on, right? I mean, we all have things we have to work on anyway. Even if you win a show, you got things to work on. But specifically, if you're outside the top 5, you got things you got to work on, right? So love learning from you. You keep it real. I do. I try to keep it as real as I can. Yes, absolutely. So, I also get that. I got a question if somebody asked me if I could review the girls that won pro cards at junior nationals. And I don't ever review national shows. And there's a few reasons for that. Biggest reason is because they just won their pro cards, right? Give them a minute. Give them a minute to actually enjoy that pro win. That is a big deal. Winning a pro card is a very big deal. So I don't like to automatically go in and critique and say, this is what you need to do. Because the other part of that too is that they're not on a pro stage, they're still on an amateur stage. So they are up against amateur competitors. They're not up against pro competitors yet. You don't know how an amateur physique is going to translate over to the pro stage. There have been women that have won overalls at these national level shows that never translate over into the pro league. And then there are women that barely win their pro card that kill it once they get to the pro stage, right? So, a good example of that is, as we talk about these shows, if we're talking about Dallas, the girl Jordan that won Dallas, it was her pro debut. She's only done 4 shows her entire career, and she's now going to the Olympia, right? That's killing it. There's not a whole lot of people out there that will accomplish that kind of thing, right? So, I don't like to put my thoughts onto people and pressure onto people that have not really had a chance to do anything yet. And again, when we're talking about national level shows, the girls that win their pro cards didn't go up against pros in order to do that. They went up against amateurs in order to do that. Now, if you all saw my post that I put up yesterday of my pro card win versus what I look like now, there is a huge difference between the amateur level and the pro level when it comes to the competitive nature of the physiques. The physiques are 10 times more advanced once you get up to the pro level. And again, sometimes people will automatically translate right over. Sometimes most of the time, they need work. So I want to give them the opportunity to put that work in prior to me giving them any kind of critiques, right? So that's just kind of my disclaimer on why I don't go into national level shows. I don't review national level competitors. I don't review girls that have just won pro cards, things like that, unless they're one of my clients. If you're one of my clients, I will probably talk about you at some point or another. Whether you're an amateur or you're a pro, I'm probably going to talk about you at some point or another. But other than that, I don't. So going into that, let's talk a little bit about Patriots first. And I pulled up the pictures, and I didn't really look through the individuals much. Let me pull up Patriots. Where is it? Is this it? No, that's Puerto Rico. Oh, there we go. There's Patriots. So again, like I mentioned with our preview with Patriots, and hopefully you guys on YouTube can hear me. I just realized that too. I've got my mic up. Hopefully you guys hear me on YouTube. So I mentioned with Patriots, I felt like it was probably going to be a repeat where Issa would win it again and Ashley would come in second. That's exactly what happened. And, I kind of looked through their comparison shots, and from the back, I felt like they were pretty comparable. I still felt like Issa beat Ashley from the back, too. I felt like Issa had more pop to her glutes. Now, again, I want to preface this by saying that I'm seeing stage photos. I didn't see video. I wasn't there in person. So I'm only going based on the photos that I've seen. So this is not the full story. It could have been completely different when you see it in person. But from what I saw with the two of them between Ashley and Issa, I felt like Issa definitely won this from the back and from the front in this particular scenario. Issa had more pop to her glutes than Ashley, which is rare. Usually Ashley has really popping glutes, and from the photos, it didn't look like that to me at this particular show. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was just, an off peak or something like that. But to me, this didn't look like the best version of Ashley I've seen. I felt like Issa kind of ran with this show. And then from the front, I felt like Issa definitely won the show. Like hands down won the show. Oops, Sorry, I've got my freaking thing plugged in. I'm going to unplug it because sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't work. Anyway, so it's really hard to compete with Issa from the front because of her waistline. So, no, I'm available on Instagram. It was just my charger. My charger just crapped out on me, so I just took it out. So anyway, so from the front, Issa's waistline is just so small. It's really hard to compare with her. It's really hard to beat her because her waistline is so tiny from the front. And I do feel like she's getting a little bit better balanced as she goes along. Now, one of the things that I felt I know that Issa's gotten critiqued about before is that she's bottom heavy, right? As she's been moving along and as she's been kind of refining her frame over the last couple of shows, I do feel like she's getting better about that balance. She is still a little bit bottom heavy, still needs to get some more shoulders going on there, but this is a much better balanced frame than what I saw at the last show. So I felt like from the front, she blew it away. From the back, let me pull up her back shots real quick. Yeah, from the back, she's doing a pretty good job of balancing herself out, and she's got some really good pop to her glutes. I am not a fan of this suit cut, you guys. This mini micro cut that they have now from Angels, I am just not a fan. It is so tiny. I am seeing tailbone, and I don't like that. I don't know if she was told that or not, but this is the case pretty much across the board. I'm not a fan of this cut. I'm just going to put that out there. It needs to dip down more and cover up that tailbone from the back. To me, it's a little bit over the top. It's a little risque to me, to be honest with you. So I would like to see that cut change. I'm hoping that people are getting critiqued on that. Now I will say one of the things that I critiqued Issa on in her last show was her hair. Her hair is much better blended in this particular look. I don't know if she got better extensions or she just had somebody install them a little bit better for her, but her hair is much better at this show. So kudos to her on blending all of that. Much better, much better. And her makeup looks better too. Now, again, these photos are a little bit dark, so I could be wrong, but I feel like her makeup blends a bit better too here than what she had at her last show at the Mile High. Mile High, her makeup was a little bit dark. Here it looks like it's right in line. But again, these photos are a little bit dark too, so it could be the pictures. From what I'm seeing in the photos, though, I think her makeup look is better than what she had last week or what she had at Mile High. So all of her presentation details, I feel like, are better here at this show versus what she had previously. So let's see. Let's go back to Ashley. So Ashley came in second here. There's two sets of pictures for Ashley on here from prejudging and from finals because she wore a blue suit at prejudging. I wasn't a fan of her look at prejudging. Not that the blue suit's bad. I don't think the blue suit is bad. I just don't like her hair in this particular show. I don't know what it is. It's like she's got almost like a middle part going on. And I'm not a fan of that on her. I don't think it flatters her very well. I like her other looks with her. I like her straight hair personally. That's me. I like her straight hair. This little wave is okay, but I just prefer the straight hair on her. I also prefer the green suit or the red. That's just her look. When girls have certain look, they just have that look, and it's not like the suit is bad. It's not that the blue is bad on her. I don't think it is. It's just, I like her look better with the green or with the red. That's just her. To me, this front pose is off. I wasn't a fan of the blue either. To me, this front pose is off. She's just too far forward. She needs to twist a little bit more. Her hand on her waistline is too high. I don't like when the hand comes above the belly button. She needs to pull it down on her hip. It makes her look uncomfortable. So I want to see that hand come down a little bit. And again, when you see the comparison shots with her next to Issa, it's just really, really hard to see past the fact that Issa has that teeny tiny little waistline. It's just really hard to see past that. And again, I'm not saying that Ashley looks bad. She doesn't. But it's just really hard to compete with Issa's waist. So I don't know. I just felt like this look on Ashley was just a little bit meh. Like it wasn't her best. It's almost like she has a little bit of water retention on her waistline. You can see it kind of over the top of her suit bottoms. There's like a little bit of a bubble of water there. I don't know, maybe she's on her period or something. That happened to me. So it's very possible that she might be on her cycle or something along that line. Very possible. But that's what it looks like. She looks like she's got a little bit of water retention in her waistline. And just doesn't have the normal Ashley pop that we're used to seeing. Like I'm used to seeing this pop on Ashley where she's just got the pop in the glutes and all that kind of stuff. And I just don't see that here. She just looks kind of meh across the board, right? It's just not her best look. It's just not her best look. So that happens. I mean, it still was enough to get her second place. But in my opinion, I don't know how the scores played out in this particular show. But in my opinion, it was really Issa's show. Let me get back to the third place. Now, I don't know how to pronounce this girl's name. Malu Duarte? Malu? Who? Maybe? I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce that. Let me pull up her pictures. Yeah, she said she wasn't her best. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty obvious that she wasn't her best, in my opinion. just from looking at the photos. These photos are hard to see a little bit, they're a little bit dark, they're a little bit shadowed, so it's difficult to tell what they really look like. And again, I didn't get a chance to watch any videos or anything like that because obviously I was competing too. So the girl that came in third looks really, really good. She's got a tight little waistline. She's a little bit longer in the waistline than the other two, like not quite as sharp of a V, but actually really, really good look. Really cute girl in the face. I like that. She's a very pretty girl in the face. Nice and tight through the waistline. They may have told her that her abs were a little bit much, maybe. She's got like those etched out abs, which can sometimes be too much. That could have been a doc for her. Might have been a little bit too muscular. But I think she has a really, really nice look from the front. And again, really pretty girl. Actually, person, everything you mentioned was spot on. Okay, cool. Good to know. Thank you. Let me see. I'm going through to see this third place girl. Again, I think it's Malou. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name right. I apologize if that's incorrect. From the back, she's a little bit hard from the back. Needs to fill out a little. I would say just in general, she just needs to fill out a little bit. She might be a little bit too lean. Just a touch too lean here, especially in comparison to Ashley and Issa. She's, to me, looks a little hard. Needs to open up her back a little bit. That would be helpful in her back pose. And the hair look from the back too. I'm not a fan of the hair look from the back. That there's like ringlets. She needs to break that up a little. Yeah, she just looks like she needs to fill out a little from the back. But overall, a really nice look. Really pretty look, really pretty girl. Just needs to be a little fuller. You got it right, Shawn. Oh, okay, cool. Awesome. I was like, I don't know. I'm just trying to pronounce phonetically when I see it. That's what I'm trying to pronounce phonetically. Malou. Okay. All right, cool. Got it. Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you guys. Great job for you too, Jessica, getting back on stage and everything too. I know that this was a big deal for you, being able to get back up here and placing 7th. Not bad at all. We'll go on to 4th place, which is Tara, another really pretty girl. Let's see. Let me take a look at her. I like her conditioning. I like her conditioning a lot. I'm looking at photos, didn't see the video, didn't see a live feed, it wasn't there in person, so I'm looking at photos. I like her conditioning. Yes, happy to see Jess up there. Thank you. It felt so good to be up there. Good. I'm glad. I like her conditioning a lot. She got a little bit of lower ab distension, just a touch. Not much, just a touch. Let's see. This is the first time I've looked at her photos. From the back, she's a little bit washed out, but again, I like this level of conditioning. I think this is a good level of conditioning, but I'm guessing they probably told her she was a little soft. That's what I'm guessing. Maybe she need to pop it, fill out a little bit from the back because she's not quite as hard as the other girls. But I like this level of conditioning. I think this is a good level of conditioning. She needs a little bit more pop to her glutes, and that might have helped. Just a little bit of fullness there. But overall, really nice look. Her upper body overpowers her lower body a little bit, and that's why I'm saying she needs some more pop to her glutes. That could just be a matter of how she filled out that morning. So that would help to balance her a little bit better. But really pretty look. And then we'll go to 5th. Hyun Kim, she's been doing well this season. Again, another beautiful look here. Let's see, let me pull up her. And she's one that I've mentioned. She's upper body dominant. She needs to work on that balance because her upper body is so dominant over her lower body. Not a huge fan of this color suit on her. When you have yellow undertones to your skin, you really need to go with cooler tones. And to me, this just looks a little bit on the greenish side, and I could be wrong. Again, I'm looking at photos. I could be wrong on this, but it looks a little bit on the greenish side of the suit color. I'd like to see her. I think she wore pink before. I think I like that kind of look. I think she wore pink. I could be wrong on that too. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be remembering this stuff wrong. But she just needs to work on balance from top to bottom. Her lower half, she needs more glutes. She needs more pop to her glutes. She's in really good condition, but in order to balance her from top to bottom, she needs more roundness, more fullness to her glutes, more pop to her glutes. It's a light mint fabric, just a bit lighter than mine. Yeah, that's what it looks like from the photos, but I couldn't really tell if that's what it was. And I'm not a huge fan of that on her skin tone. I'd like to see it a little bit deeper in color. Those light colors are really, really hard to pull off. Those light colors are really, really hard to pull off. I'd like to see her pop some more jewel tone to that suit. I think that would be helpful. Pretty hair look. I like her hair look a lot. But she's just upper body dominant. That's the main thing with her, is I just like to see some more fullness to her glutes, some more pop to her glutes. That would help to balance her out quite a bit. I mean, maybe if she posed down her upper body, that might help as well. I feel like she pulls her lats out a bit, and she's already got some really nicely capped delts. So when you do that, it makes you look even more top heavy, and she just looks pretty top heavy. She looks pretty top heavy. The stones were much lighter, so I think that's why it may look washed out. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yep. You gotta be careful with those stone colors, you guys. The deeper and darker stone colors make a difference. It makes that fabric really pop. Like, I try to tell that to girls that I'm designing suits. Like, my suit is red with red stones. There's no light colored stones on there or anything. It's pure red stones. And that's why when my suit is on stage, it looks really fire red because of the stoning. It matches the fabric. So when you go really with light colored with the stones, it's going to brighten and lighten that whole suit. So that can be a good thing if your skin tone is really dark. If you have really dark skin tone, a brighter suit can actually be a very good thing. But if you're like me and you have really fair skin, it's not a good thing. You want more depth to your suit. You want more of that pure color to your suit. So I think with her, that would be helpful. But again, overall, pretty girl. Just needs to work on a few things with her. I think if she brought her glutes up a little bit, maybe brought her upper body down a little bit, that would be helpful to balance her out more than anything else. So that's your top 5 at Patriots. And like I said, I felt like Issa kind of won this hands down, in my opinion. Let's go over to Puerto Rico. So I wanted to touch on that real quick because I think Miriam might be on here, but Miriam did win one of the master's classes here, the 55 and over. So congratulations to Miriam, because I think I saw her on here. Here's a great example. We did her suit for her, darker toned skin, bright pink suit. Hey, Miriam, what's up? So that fuchsia suit really pops off of her skin tone. Those are the kinds of things you look at. You want the suit color to pop. You want whatever it is that you have on your skin tone to pop off of your skin tone. You want that depth of that color. Looks really, really pretty. Overall, nice improvements to your physique this year, Miriam. Better X-frame from the front, more glutes from the back, all of that. So going in the right direction here too. So congratulations on winning Puerto Rico. Love the suit color. Good. I'm glad to hear that. So let's go over to and we also had Deidre in the Masters as well. So Deidre hasn't competed since last year, so I wanted to say congratulations to her too, because she also competed in the Masters divisions. All the thank yous and congratulations. I love seeing that. That's great. Let's go to Open, and we'll start with 5th and move our way up for Open. And 5th was Jody. So Jody has been consistently getting into that first call out, somewhere around top 5-ish. I think she's 6th or 7th. I think she might have been 7th at DC. Am I wrong? No, I think she was top 5 at DC Pro-Am. I'm getting all these shows mixed up in my head. So sorry, guys, if I get your placings wrong, I apologize. But she's been placing pretty consistently in the top. This was a fuller look for her than what she did in a couple of shows, which I do think was the right move. She needed to get a little bit fuller. She's one that has that bright pop of red in that suit, which I like. Nice and tight through the waistline. Let me take a look at her back shot here. Let's see, there's her front shot. Let's see. Maybe open up that front shot a little bit. Open up the toe in the front shot just a little bit to give her a little bit more fullness. She's a little bit lean through that that quad sweep there. So if we open that up a little bit on that front pose, that might help. I'd like to see what that looks like. But that also may make her waistline look thicker, so I could be wrong on that. I would like to see what it looks like. Let's see, where's the back shot? Okay, we're getting to the back shot here. Back shot can still fill out a little. Let's see. Definitely fuller than when she was in prejudging for DC. I will say that she's definitely fuller here, but can still stand to fill out some more. Needs some more pop on those glutes. The top of the glutes there. I know that's been one of her critiques recently, is that she just needs to fill out her glutes a little bit more. She's got a little bit of muddiness on her tan there too, so that doesn't help with that glute pop. Get that tan fixed there. That's always difficult when you're going show to show to show. As you can see, looking at me right now, I got splotchiness on my tan right now because I've just been scrubbing it off. Tans are always, especially when you're in a climate like Puerto Rico where it's humid, tans are difficult. Tans are difficult. So a little bit of splotchiness to that tan, that could be helped to fix that. Let's move up to fourth, which was Jessica Miller. So Jessica has also been competing quite a bit this year. She was also first call out at DC, but ended up placing, I think she was the one that ended up in seventh, I think, in DC. Looking at Puerto Rico, she does look like she's a little bit fuller, which is what she needed to do. She was a little hard at DC. So we got from the back shot. Man, they didn't catch her like fully posed. That's what I'm looking for. So they caught her in motion in all these. Let me see. A fully posed shot. Here's one. I think this one's fully posed. Let me see. Yeah, her hamstrings are a little bit washed out. That could just be a posing thing, to be honest with you. But also, I think if she posed any differently, she might have looked a little too hard. So she's got some decent pop there, but I just like to see a little bit more pop, just a little bit more pop through those the hamstring tie-in, because she's just a little washed out there. This is a good look for her, though. I think this is improved over DC last week. I'm trying to find a full. Most of these shots, she's not fully posed, which tells me she's moving quite a bit. Yeah, that's a general critique I can give to everyone. If the photographer can't catch you in a fully posed shot, you're moving too much. Make sure that you hold your poses. Make sure you hit and hold your poses. The judges judge you when you're in your poses, right? So make sure that you give them something to judge you with, because I'm looking through all her shots here and it's hard for me to find one where she's fully posed. So I'd like to see one where she gets fully posed and holds it. She's probably just moving a little bit too much. I think this is a better look than DC from what I'm seeing here. A little bit fuller, which is definitely what she needed from DC. DC, she was definitely too hard. So that's probably why she got rewarded here, because I believe it was the same judging panel too, or at least I think Bill was the judge of both shows, the head judge of both shows. So, if you got the same head judge, they're going to see you. If you make improvements according to their feedback and their critiques, they're going to reward you for that. So good job. She made improvements. Good job. Let's go back and hit Liana Martinez. She looked a lot better at this show. She was coming in way too lean, and now she's a little bit fuller, which looks much better on her. This fullness was something she definitely needed, absolutely needed, and it looks so much better. Let's take a look at her back shot. Back shot is popped. She's, again, a little bit washed out through the hamstrings, but I'm okay with that. She looks nice and round here, nice and full. That's really what she needed versus being super lean. She could stand to grow a little bit of glutes. I think that would be helpful for her because I think this is probably as far as she can push the fullness with her current size. So I'd like to see her. I'd like to see her take some time to grow a little bit. She's got some nice hamstring tie-ins. She's got some nice leg development and calves. She's got some great calves. Fantastic calves, by the way. I just like to see a little bit more actual mass in her glutes. I think that would be helpful for her frame. Her front shot here. Yeah, front shot looks really good. Like, this is a big improvement from when I saw her in New York. Just because she's fuller and she's rounder, and I like that. She's got some fullness to her shoulders, nice and round, all of that. I think this is a very good look for her. I do like the blue on her. I like the red as well, but I like the blue. I think the blue pops off her skin very nicely. I think I do like this color on her. It's growing on me. I'm one of those people that when I see somebody in red and I really like red, I'm like, oh, don't change from red. But I do like this blue on her. I think this is a pretty blue for her skin tone. So I think this is a good look for her. I think this is probably the best I've seen her all year. That's what I would say. This is probably the best I've seen her all year because I like that roundness. I like that fullness. So really good job here. I'd just like to see her grow a little bit more glute. Get her some more mass back there. I think that would help. That would help her overall frame. We're going to go to second place, which was Francesca. So Francesca Stokio has won this show several times. Francesca's been competing quite a bit this year already, but hasn't been doing great. And I think she just needs some time off, to be perfectly honest with you. She's a little bit lean, a little bit hard, all of those things. She needs some fullness, you know. This suit color, again, I'm not a huge fan of the light colors. I would like to see her in something with some more depth to the color of the suit. I think that would really help her because she's not one of the darker skin tone girls on stage. She's actually one of the lighter skin tone girls on stage. So getting a little bit more of a jewel tone suit, I think would actually really help her look a lot. I think it would make her pop quite a bit more. She has a ridiculous frame when it comes to her V taper from her shoulders into her waistline and everything. I mean, it's really hard to compete with that particular part of her anatomy, but it can tend to make her look a little top heavy at times too, which I do think is the case. I think that's something she needs to work on. She needs to work on getting herself a little bit fuller through the glutes so that she can match her upper body. Now I can see she's posing down her upper body in her back pose, which is good. This is something that I mentioned that other girl from Patriots should be doing. Hyun Kim, is that her name? I can't remember her name. This is something that she should be doing, which is posing down her upper body. So that was a very good move on Francesca's part. But I'd still just like to see her grow a little bit more through the glutes so that she could pop those a little bit more because she's still just a little bit tight, a little bit too hard through the back. So I think that's why she ended up in second place here because she's in great condition, but it's just a little bit too much. It's a little bit over the line. And she's done a good job, again, of trying to balance her frame. But I really think until she gets off stage and grows some glutes, she's still going to keep getting in the same kind of position where she's going to end up in the first call out, you know, that kind of thing. But in order for her to win a show now, she's going to have to fill those glutes out. She's going to have to fill those glutes out. Because again, that upper body otherwise just takes over. And again, she's posing it down. She's doing the right thing. She's doing the right thing as far as her posing is concerned. She just needs to grow a little bit through like that upper glute and just get that to pop a little bit more so it balances her frame. And then do a darker suit color. Do a darker suit color. That's my 2 cents on that matter. I think she would look really, really good in a darker suit. So she ended up in second. And then we're going to go over to Gabriella, who won this, and this is her first pro win. And again, this is a color suit. Beautiful, beautiful color suit right here. So I just missed a comment. Let me get over here. Hang on. Oh, there we go. Okay. I love the jewel tones. Like the jewel tones just look so pretty on everybody's skin tones. Like get a nice, beautiful jewel tone here. That's what she's got right here. That looks great. I love that color suit. It really pops off of her skin. It just makes her look really bright, and I like that a lot. Let me pull up her front pose. Hold on, I haven't gotten it front. Well, let's go to a back pose first. So she's got really good pop to her glutes. I mean, this is where she excels, right? She's got that nice full round pop to the top of her glutes. So this is something that's going to get her into that top call out almost every time if she dials in correctly, which is what she did here. So I know that her critiques previously in previous shows this year have been that she needed to downsize a little bit, that she had too much muscle. So I think she's been working on that. I feel like she's got some really good balance from the back. Pose is right on. Her pop to her glutes is the best pop I've seen on the stage so far for this particular show. She's got the roundness. She's got the fullness. She's in condition. She's tight and all of those things too, but she's got fullness and she's got roundness. And that's the thing that a few of these girls were missing. And that's what I think pushed her over the top. Let me pull up a front shot. Find one. Hang on. There's a front shot. Yeah, she's got some really good balance from the front too. Nothing overpowering. That's the whole deal. When you are on stage, you want your upper and lower body to be balanced. You don't want to look at somebody and say, oh, she's got amazing shoulders. Like that's not what you want to look at, right? You want to see the overall frame. And for her, the overall frame is really complimentary from top to bottom. She's done a good job of pulling down the glutes a little bit. She was in her earlier shows this season, she was bottom heavy, and especially from that front pose. I mentioned that with Issa too. Issa was the same way. She was very bottom heavy. And Issa is still a little bit bottom heavy, but she's doing better at balancing that out. Same thing here. Gabby's doing a better job of balancing out her frame. That's the key. Balance, 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 balance. You've heard me say this 1,000 times. Balance. Balance is key, right? So, and you see that the girls that have enough muscle here going through this season, some of them have been pulling the muscle down so they can balance their frame. That's what Gabriella did here. She balanced her frame out. So really good job with that. Now, like I mentioned, I'm not going to review Dallas because I was in Dallas, but I want to give you guys the opportunity to ask any questions that you might have about Dallas. And then I also want to talk a little bit about my own feedback and what's coming up next and what we're doing going forward and all that too. So while I'm talking about myself, go ahead and ask me questions you might have. But yeah, Jordan did win that, and it was a pro debut for her. Looked phenomenal, looked wonderful. Kind of one of those girls that just kind of skyrocketed. You know what I mean? Like there's not a whole lot of girls that can go out there and win their pro debut. So congratulations to her on that. So I wanted to give her that little up right there. But again, I don't really like to go through and review girls when I've actually stepped on stage with them. I don't know. That's just weird to me. But we had a lot of fun at this particular show, backstage and everything like that too. It was actually a really, really fun show. I had a really good time in Dallas. It was not cold. It was nice. it was humid a little bit the night before. I had a few tan issues personally because of the humidity. The night before the show, it rained, and then it was super hot and humid. So thankfully, we got most of it fixed by the morning, but it was a little bit stressful the night before. And you just have to kind of breathe. And I just told myself, I said, I'm just going to go to sleep because there's nothing I can do about it right now, and we'll fix it in the morning. So it is what it is. You got to deal with it. Same thing with, starting my cycle. The whole day while I was getting on stage, I was like, why can't I hold my stomach? I was having such a hard time actually tightening and holding and contracting my abs when I was on stage, specifically when I was in the line. on the diagonal. And I don't have a problem with that typically. I don't have an issue with that. Like, that's something I practice. That's something I'm good at. And I'm like, this is not normal. And then of course I started my cycle that night. And as soon as that happened, I was like, oh, that's why. Because my uterus was yelling at me. Got it. Okay. So if I could have changed anything about the show, it would have been that I didn't get my period that night of after the show, because that's the one thing I felt like I kind of held a little bit of water because of that. And there's nothing you can do about that. If you start trying to take diuretics, it ends up flattening you out. So, we just kind of rolled with it. I was in good enough shape that it didn't make a huge difference. But if I'd been on stage like the day after or the day before that, I probably would have looked a little bit different, and I probably would have had a better shot at holding my stomach in a little bit better. So that was the one thing that I wish I could have changed about the show. Other than that, though, I was super happy about my presentation. When I was in New York, I was not happy with my presentation. I felt like my posing was really rusty, and I just didn't feel comfortable posing. Versus Dallas, I felt really comfortable on stage. That Dallas stage, it was huge. So we had a good 10 seconds to walk out till we actually started our routine. And for me, that was really beneficial because it gave me the opportunity to get into my groove before I started posing. For me, it takes me a couple of seconds to kind of get comfortable when I'm stepping on the stage. And having that extra long space to walk, for me, actually really helped. So by the time I actually got into my posing, I was like, boom, I'm good. I got no problems. I'm not shaking. I'm not jiggling. I'm not doing any weird things or from nerves. My nerves were gone. I was good. So I actually really liked that. And I also really liked the expo setting too. Some people would think that an expo would be really intimidating because it's huge. But for me, it's kind of the opposite, because I know that there's a ton of people there, but they're not all watching specifically me. Some of them are actually at the booths and paying attention to other things and not paying attention to me. I felt like the only people that were really paying attention to me were the judges, which is the only part that I really wanted to be paid attention to. So if that makes sense. Whereas New York, it's like everyone was beeline right on stage. You know what I mean? So I don't know. For me, the expo stages are actually a lot less intimidating, even though they're much bigger. So I don't know if that makes sense or not, but for me, that really helped. So I felt very, very comfortable on stage. I really, really enjoyed my presentation. I really felt like I nailed my presentation. I felt like that part was all great. So that part was really, really good. Then as far as my judging feedback is concerned, my judging feedback was specifically to work on conditioning. So I mentioned this in my post today, and I wanted to go into this a little bit because I talked about this topic at Cuties Conference Stage this past year, how to interpret your judging feedback. That was my topic. So the word conditioning can sometimes be a little bit confusing, as far as what do we have to do in order to actually get better conditioning. It depends on the person. In some scenarios, what that means is that you just need to diet harder. You need to diet longer. For some people, that's what conditioning means. For other people, like myself, it means build muscle. In order for me to get my conditioning to the point where it's going to be competitive, I need more muscle. My conditioning, I felt like, was the best it could be without losing my glutes. We were really cognizant of the fact that I can get skinny really fast. And that's never a good look. I don't want to be skinny on stage. I specifically said that to my coach. I was like, the last thing I want is to lose my shape. The last thing I want is to lose what we've spent the last year and a half building. I would rather be on that on the side of being full versus being stringy. So my conditioning in Dallas was better than New York, and we were able to fill myself out more. I'll put up some pictures from the morning of the show, that kind of thing, and kind of show what we did as far as filling out and all that kind of stuff. But really, in order for me to move up in the ranks, I need to grow more muscle in my glutes specifically. The rest of my body is fine. My legs are fine. My upper body is fine. I don't need to grow anything more there. We're good. But in order for my glutes to really get to that point where we pop, like I've been mentioning with all these other girls that I've been mentioning with their critiques, in order for me to pop through those glutes, I got to grow more. I got to get more density. I need to be thicker. So my judging feedback again was that my shape was on point. There's nothing I have to do. My symmetry, like top to bottom, right where I needed to be. So as far as shape is concerned, I'm right there, but I need that thickness. And that thickness just comes from time under tension, that comes from building muscle, that comes from filling out the frame that I have. So I knew that. It was not a surprise to me. And actually going into prep at the very beginning, when we first started cutting, that's pretty much what we thought was going to happen. But at some point, you do have to rip the Band-Aid off, and you got to get on stage and see where you are. Right. So I'm glad that we did that. I'm glad that we ripped the Band-Aid off. I'm glad that we went down the path that we did. And in the process, we didn't sacrifice any muscle. I actually gained muscle through this whole process, through cutting and all of that too. So now I just have to keep going. It's just a time factor. And if I was to continue to cut, I would start losing what we've built. So instead, I am eating, which I'm really happy about. So eating and lifting and all of that in order to gain more. I've put on a ton of muscle over the last year and a half, and I just have to put more on. That's it. So it's really, it's a simple explanation. It's just a time under tension process. And I got to get to the point where I've got some more fullness back there that I can really get a little bit leaner to get that fullness to really pop. So you hear me say these words a lot, this fullness and this pop and all that kind of stuff. And I hope that by going through and showing you through these photos and things like that, through the girls online, that I can kind of illustrate what these words actually mean, right? Do you guys have questions? I mean, there's a bunch of people on, but I haven't had any questions really come in. So feel free to type in and ask questions as we go along here. So I want to leave it open so you guys can ask any questions you might have about this. Does this make sense to you? Is there anything that you needed further explanation about? All of those kinds of things. So I'll give it a minute and I'll let you guys ask any questions you might have. And this is cold brew coffee, by the way. I don't know what it looks like, but it looks like I'm like drinking Jack and Coke or something, but I'm not. It's coffee. But yeah, so the plan going forward is just to continue to build. Most likely get back on stage in the spring. Coming back to stage over the last year and a half, I did have to put on a lot of size because I'd stripped a lot of muscle off through doing pageants and stuff. So I did need to go up quite a bit in weight. I did need to build everywhere on my frame for the last year and a half. Now I don't have to do that. So, specifically, I want to stay within about 10 to 12, 15 pounds of my stage weight. Again, I'm 5'9", so I can go up 10 pounds in a meal. You know what I mean? So I do want to stay relatively close to my stage weight this time, so I don't have to get to the point where I'm doing as much cardio as I was this last time. Because for me, the cardio is brutal. And I just don't want to have to do that. I'm good with doing 30 minutes of cardio a day. I'm not good with doing 90 minutes of cardio a day. I really liked your explanation. Makes sense, as I'm in a similar boat with adding density. Yes. So it's not that when you're trying to build muscle, it's not that you have to put on a ton of mass. It's just a matter of, like you said, density, getting more solid. And that's just lifting in those certain areas that you need to get more solid. So I'm going to continue to build in my glutes, but honestly, I don't want my legs to get any bigger. I don't need my hamstrings to get any bigger. My hamstrings can take over really fast. That's something we've actually been really cognizant of, because in the past, that's critiques I've gotten. I've gotten critiqued in the past that my hamstrings were dominant. So it's the fact is I have really long legs, so my legs can take over really fast. So in order for my frame to really show at its best, I just need to really focus on just the glutes. which takes a lot of isolation and things like that. Everybody's gonna be a little bit different as far as what they need and as far as what their frame needs in order to fill out. And that's what I need. My upper body, I have no problem with that. I have my figure background, my back and my shoulders. I have zero issue with gaining mass on my upper body. I can do that in a heartbeat. that's my figure genetics right there. In order to grow the glutes, though, it takes some more time. So, and I'm willing to do it. That's the other part of it. I love the off-season portion of this sport. I know a lot of people love prep. I know a lot of people love being on stage. I love performing. Don't get me wrong. I love all that. But where I really love the sport is in my off season when I feel strong. Like today I was hitting PRs because I have more food in me because I've eaten a lot of shit for the last couple of days. I'm not even gonna lie. I've eaten a lot the last 2 days. I'm back on my plan 100% as of today. Back on my macros and everything like that. And I've kept my cardio up, all those kinds of things, but I definitely ate way off and didn't track for the last 2 days. So not even gonna lie. Went to a Brazilian steakhouse last night because I wanted all the foods. So not even gonna lie, I've eaten my weight in meat and all that right now, but that went straight to my glutes today. Any other questions you guys have? Overall, I was really happy. Like I said, I was really happy with my presentation, which, that's what I'm good at. That's what I'm known for is my presentation. So I want that to be on point. And, that was, I felt really good about all of that. I felt great about my hair and makeup. I felt great about my posing. I felt great about my presentation, all of that. So that was a good way to put a stamp on this season because I really wanted to be better than what I was when I was in New York. So I can't wait for that, right? Yeah, all the food. No, right? I was so happy last night. I ate everything. Like I specifically said, I just want to eat everything for one day. Get the meat sweats. Yes, absolutely. Oh my God. I was like, they have a little, if you've never been to a Brazilian steakhouse, they give you a little red and green button. So if you put the red side up, they stop serving you. If you put the green side up, they keep serving you. I had that green side up. I had that green side up, let me tell you. My husband always says that the reason why he fell in love with me is because I'm not a salad-eating bitch. No salad-eating bitches here. I had salad, but I definitely ate all of the other foods too. Yeah, definitely ate all the foods. All the foods. It was like on our first date, I ate all of my food and I got my own dessert on our first date. He's like, I like this girl. I can eat, man. I can eat. Trust me. I can put some food away. I got some long legs. I got a lot of room to fill. So anyway, any other questions, you guys? This was a long one, I know, but we have these weekends where we have so many pro shows going on. We have so much to talk about. So I don't even know what's coming up this coming weekend, but I'll take a look at it. We have our Sizzling Summer Suit Sale is open. If you were on the registration list, then you have access. If you're not on the registration list, well, then you're going to have to wait because our registration list gets access first. And they are going fast. I can tell you that. I've seen they're going fast. This sale tends to sell out within a couple of days. Once we hit that number, we're done. We're out. We're done. So if you're contemplating, go ahead and purchase, right? I got mine. Can't wait. Yes, I did see that you got yours. Yes, I saw that. That's awesome. I can't wait to work with you. That's great. Fantastic. That's wonderful. Yeah, this is a great sale, you guys. Like and I know like our world today, it's you need a price break. So this will help you out. It'll help you out with your budget, right? So you get yourself some good quality at a fraction of the price, right? When are you coming back to Texas? Oh, we'll see. I was thinking about coming out for Republic of Texas, but I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. So we'll see. Maybe. I'll put that a maybe, right? Got it. Yes, you did. You got yours too. I saw that. Yes, absolutely. So I had a great time in Texas, though. Texas is always fun. People are always super nice. The South. People are nice everywhere you go. Right? Shout out to Jazzy Fresh and to Jasmine and to Yolanda for the recommendations. Absolutely. Yes, for sure. Definitely. They're the best. They're fantastic. I am not going to Universe. Nope. So typically I do, but we have a 4th of July family get together going down, and I haven't seen my family in a long time because of all the pandemic stuff. So it's my in-law side of the family. So we're doing that weekend. Typically, July 4th weekend, I am always at a show because it's either Chicago or it's Universe, one of the two. But I chose to do the family thing this year because that's important. You gotta have your priorities set. Gotta have your priorities straight, right? Any other questions, you guys? But again, grab your packages if you haven't already. I snagged a package. I'm a sucker for a deal, man. Yes, you did. And I saw that. Hey, you know what? I'm a sucker for a deal too. I don't pay full price for anything, you guys. I ball on a budget, man. I ball on a budget. That's why I can afford the things that I do, because I ball on a budget. I plan, man. I plan for everything, right? If I'm going to be competing early next year, when would be a good time to reach out? We'll do an onboarding. So don't worry about any of those questions right now. You'll go on the onboarding when we finish out the sale, and we'll answer all those questions. Okay. All right. Any other questions about the shows? I'll give it another minute because we've been on for like an hour at this point, almost. Congratulations to the ladies that have qualified for Olympia this weekend. Congratulations to the ladies that qualified for pro cards at Junior Nationals. We still got a lot of year left. You know, the Olympia is late this year, so there's a lot to go still. Shows this weekend. I can't remember. Yeah, I'm not sure. I have to take a look. To be honest with you, I don't know what's coming up this weekend. Relentless cat. Oh, the cat calls. I know, right? I was doing posing critiques outside at the hotel, and I got cat called while I was sitting there outside in the little cafe area. I'm like, seriously? Like, I'm just sitting here in my freaking PJs. I was in my pajamas, you guys. Like my sweatpants. I was like, okay. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, I hope you guys had a great week. I will be back on live again tomorrow night now that I'm back home and have a weekend home. I'm not going anywhere this weekend. Woo, got clients all weekend. So I will be on live again tomorrow night with another topic for you guys. I'm going to get back to getting out some more YouTube content too, because I've got a ton of stuff from the last few weeks from me competing, from DC Pro-Am. I just haven't had a chance to put it all together. So we get all that together and get some more uploads out for you as well. So you have some stuff to watch during your cardios. And I got to go eat again because I'm in off season and I got more food to eat now. Yeah. All right. Have a great night, you guys. I'm going to end YouTube first. There we go. All right.